scholars, you're watching Shasta's Journey, and my name is Shasta Garcia. I'm the host of Shasta's Journey, and this show is all about my path to purpose, and along the way, I get to meet so many incredible people with stories that could teach, heal, or inspire one of you. And on this episode, I have a man who has made an incredible difference within my life as I came to God. He was there from day one as I gave my life to God, and he was also there along every fun adventure that I've been on as well, and I would like to introduce you to him. His name is Terry Douglas. He is huge and amazing, but he has even a bigger heart. I call him my BLT, which stands for Big Loving Terry. So, if you want to go ahead and call him that too, you totally can, BLT. I got him donuts to be here. And maybe he'll break something, throughout the show. Possibly. So we will see. But anyways, thank you so much for being here with me, Terry. And it has been since the last show that I hosted when I was like a teenager. I still am, but a while ago.
That was a while ago.
Yeah. And but now you get to kind of like open up and share a little bit more about your story and more of who you are and your faith.
Oh boy. Okay.
That makes you. So you just like let loose. You can like say whatever you want. Go for it. Yeah. So I've heard your testimony probably a lot more than everybody else. No, but I would love to hear it again, so you can tell everybody else. Basically, from your childhood, you were always strong, breaking stuff, and that kind of turned you into the man you are today.
Yeah, getting in a lot of trouble growing up. I grew up like a lot of people nowadays. I grew up in a single-parent home, not having a dad. My mom was always working, so she was gone. So I grew up with my brother and I living with my grandmother and grandfather when my mom was at work, and so they helped raise me and sending us to school. My mom would drop us off every morning, and they'd get us ready, send us to school. And I'd go to school, get in trouble, and just do typical kid things from early age. And I could tell you where my life kind of started taking a bad turn. My grandmother was sick. She was diagnosed with cancer. And I really didn't understand at the time what it really was. I thought, as a young boy, thought she was sick and that she'd get better. But she got, worse as the weeks went by. And I watched her just kind of deteriorate, and it took a toll on me. I was a young boy and watched her life. This is the woman I looked up to my whole life, and now she's sick and she couldn't help herself. I remember as a boy in 5th, 6th grade, holding her so my mom could change the sheets on the bed, and she would look at me and not know who I was, and it kind of hurt me. So the day she died was a big turning point in my life. Remember it clearly, and they took her to the hospital, and my mom called her back and said, your grandmother passed away, and I could really pinpoint that day where my life kind of went downhill, and I just kind of started doing everything she taught me was wrong, doing things that I know if she would have caught me, she would have whooped my butt if she caught me, and just kind of going that route. Got into sports at an early age, and really that was one of the things that kept me out of some trouble. Playing sports, and I didn't like school, but I had to go to play football. So my mom forced me to go to school. It wasn't really an option in my house. Education was a big deal to her, and made it through high school somehow by the grace of God. Made it through high school, and really how I came to faith in Christ was I was at a park, playing basketball, just doing what we were doing, out hanging out with the boys and drinking. Sorry, Mom, and hanging out with the guys and drinking, and some guy walked up to me and just started sharing about Jesus. I said some pretty bad things to him because I didn't want to hear about Jesus. I really didn't know who Jesus was. I remember going to some football games and seeing people with signs with John 3:16. I'm like, well, who's John and what's a 3:16? So I didn't know what that was, and the guy began to share with me, invited me to an outreach center where I started hanging out with, and then one day he invited me to church, and so he said there's going to be a football player speaking. So I'm like, football? Yeah, I'll go. So he tricked me into going to this church, and I got there, and I started looking around, and there was a bunch of older people with white hair and these books in their hand. I'm like, well, they don't look like athletes to me. Maybe it's their moms, coaches' moms or something. I don't know, but it was a church service that night, and Donnie Moore was speaking. I didn't know who Donnie Moore was at the time. Never heard of him. All I know is some big dude came walking out who looked like a football player. So I sat there for a minute until I found out it was a church service, and I got really upset. I said some very bad things in the church and to the guy that was speaking and to the pastor of the church. And I was angry because I couldn't get home. And he began to share a message called When the Gates Shut. And he spoke on heaven, he spoke on hell. And I started thinking, well, what if this guy's right? What if there is a heaven, there is a hell, and what if there is a God that loves me and he could change my life? So I sat there and I suffered through the message because I was still angry. And then at the end of the message, he gave an opportunity to meet Jesus. And I said, well, I don't know if this guy is right or if he's wrong, but if there's a God who loves me, I want to know. And that night I gave my life to Christ, and that was August 4th of 1994. And I've been going ever since.
And you have a close relationship with Donnie Moore.
Yes, I've been traveling with Donnie now for the past probably 22 years. Been doing camps with him, doing outreaches, crisscrossing this country, doing public schools, and going to Mexico and Africa and other parts of the world with under Radical Reality and reaching people and just trying to make a difference.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
you've gone on a few trips with us to,
I have.
to Mexico.
I've been very
yeah.
lucky to have done that because God has revealed so much to me this last trip that I just went on, which I haven't told you yet, but we'll get there.
Okay.
We will. There's a lot I want to cover because you're a guy filled with many hats and many different things that God uses you throughout your life, which is pretty incredible. So let's start naming a few of them. We got Radical Reality, so you want to tell people what Radical Reality is and what you're able to do?
Yeah, it's a group of guys. We just travel around and we do feats of strength. We break bats and bricks and bend bars and tear phone books and license plates, and we do it as an attention getter when we go to a public school. Like we were just at my school last week and did a thing there and just talked to the kids about choices. And really our assembly is really tailored toward individual schools. So whatever the school is dealing with, whether it's a high drug area, whether it's a high gang area, we kind of tailor our assemblies to meet the needs of the school. And we just share about choices and consequences and overcoming obstacles and not being a follower, but be a leader in your community. And we go into the schools and we just love on young people.
And break stuff.
And break stuff. Breaking stuff is always fun.
Breaking stuff, of course. And you also break stuff in other countries, too. In
other countries. We did outreaches in Mexico, of course. And just recently, the past few months, I was in Africa, and we did 23 outreaches in 9 days. And then we did night meetings every night. Then we opened the Lord's Gym last year in Africa. So we did the grand opening of Lord's Gym. We did just outreaches all day at the community center and on the beach with thousands of young people. It's amazing.
It sounds really amazing. I know I've seen pictures and stuff.
Amazing. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, well, Africa for you is like Mexico for me.
I know. In Mexico, I was thinking, I don't know which one I like more. I just love them all. Just seeing the smiles on the kids' faces and just knowing that you've made a difference in somebody's life, really, that's it for me. I don't really, what country it is, it's just,
yeah, exactly.
Love is the same everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Love is the strongest form of communication.
Yeah.
I mean, I still haven't learned Spanish, but,
I keep telling them I'm going to learn every year, and I never do.
Yeah, I tell them that, too.
I feel bad.
One day, right?
One day.
One day. Well, when God just sticks everyything in your head,
but
and you're like, cool, I know Spanish.
I can't order tacos in Spanish, so I learned a little.
More power to you. You could probably order donuts, too, in Mexico if you could.
Yeah, they're my favorite.
Yeah.
Was it Mexicali commercial, the chocolate donuts?
I couldn't get a Mexico donuts, but...
Well, I'm getting a whole bunch when I go.
Subside,
I'll eat some for you.
Oh, well, thank you. I'll be with you in Mexico.
Yeah, but I'll save you the calories, so I'll eat them.
Okay. Wait, why did I owe you donuts? Just FYI. Because you texted me I owed you donuts, but I don't remember why I owed you donuts.
Something happened in... it was in Mexico, and you said you would... I don't exactly remember what happened, but I do remember said you'll buy me donuts.
He just conned me into getting him donuts. Yes. I think that's the only thing that just happened.
It was a long drive.
Okay,
so I think donuts were...
Well, you said I owed you donuts. I got you donuts, but I wasn't sure.
But those are not the ones I wanted, though.
Ooh.
I want the Mexico donuts.
I'm sorry. I couldn't get those. But those are just some of the things. Are you still a chaplain? Do you
yes.
Still do that?
I just recently, last year, with the Oakland Athletics, I was with Donnie in the Oakland Athletics and Sacramento River Cats, and their AAA team was in Sacramento. Well, last year they moved their AAA team from Sacramento to Nashville, Tennessee. The Fresno Grizzlies, which is the AAA team for the San Francisco Giants, moved into the Sacramento River Cats Stadium, and so I didn't know what was going to go on with them. So the Giants called me and asked me if I would consider staying on with them. So I told them I'd pray about it, and then talked to a few of the guys on the other team with the Oakland A's, and they gave me the blessing. So I called them back and said yes. So I just finished my first full year with the San Francisco Giants. It's been a challenge because I love those guys, but being with the A's for that many years, it's hard.
Yeah, but that's still such an amazing opportunity.
Yes,
for you,
it is, and And the Giants is a great organization. The general manager loves the Lord. I mean, he's a on fire believer, which makes it a lot easier to reach out. You know, when we do outreaches or something, I'll give you a prime example. These guys for the River Cats, amazing guys. I have a very strong chapel group. So we do chapel every Sunday home game. We do Bible studies on weekdays with the teams before or after a game. We get together and we do Bible studies. We've done outreaches with the Shriners Hospital. We've done the Wounded Warrior amputee softball game with the guys. So I told the guys, listen, hey, I need 5 guys to go to the Children's Shriners Hospital to the amputee ward. And I watched 5 guys immediately raise their hand and said, I'm in. And so they did this all year long, whether it was Loaves and Fishes or Salvation Army or feeding the homeless under the bridge. These guys did everything I asked them to do. So at the end of the season, as a thank you, I took the guys out to a very nice restaurant in Roseville, and I paid for it, even though I'm poor. So, but I just wanted to say thank you for the guys for a great season of chapel and for giving back to the community, because my goal is to get these guys involved in the community and giving back. Well, I took these guys out to this restaurant. I took about 15 of them to dinner, and I paid for it. Well, somehow our general manager for the Giants found out that I took these guys to dinner, and the very next day he had a check sitting on the desk for me, and he paid it. And I said, well, no, this is my way of blessing the guys. He goes, no, I got it. And he covered the whole thing.
Wow.
So he does things like that. Whatever I need, whether I need Bibles for the players, or I took a group of guys that were in a drug recovery program. Oh. And I told them, if they make all your steps I'll take you to a game. So I took all the guys to a game. The general manager for the River Cats came down out of the top, walked down to our guys, took them up to the owner's suite, and just shared his life story with them, and then prayed over every one of them.
Wow.
And just blessed them, and just things like that. It just makes it worth doing with those guys. And really, those guys are just people too. Mm-hmm. So whether you're playing single A ball or you're in the majors making, $50 million for 4 years, these guys they need Jesus too. And so,
Amen.
I really don't see them as ball players. I see them as people who are on their walk with the Lord, and my goal really is just to take them deeper in that walk.
Mm-hmm. Well, looks like you're doing a great job.
I really don't like baseball anyway. So
are you serious? I love baseball.
So
okay.
That's been the ongoing joke for years with the guys. Are you going to stay for the game? I'll stay for opening pitch or whatever. But I've been getting better. I'm learning the different positions, and I think that's why the guys, we have that bond, because I think they understand why I'm there. I'm not there, for recognition. I'm not there to get their autographs or get them to do things that other people want. I'm just there to make sure that their relationship with God is right, and that their character is strong, and they're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're big loving Terry, and you help center people.
If not, I'll hit them with a bat.
Oh, okay. Or rip up with their...
Or break their bat.
Oh, yeah. So I wanted to ask you, since you do all these feats of strength and stuff, do you have a pretty solid workout that you stick to, or are your donuts your workout?
When I'm on in training, I do good, but sometimes I lapse in my training, and it's really easy to do. Once you get really busy and you do these things, sometimes it takes a back burner to your other things, because you're always going from working at school, from coaching basketball at school, coaching wrestling, and doing all these different things at school, and traveling, doing outreaches, working at Lord's Gym, and doing these different things. Sometimes working out, but when I'm on, and I got to get back on.
Well, I just thought I should ask, because somehow you stay strong.
Well,
it's
with
weird.
my eating, my eating habits are not the best in the world, as you saw in Mexico.
Oh, I know.
I eat a lot. I love eating. If eating was a sport, I'd be a professional. I love good food. I love ribs. I love doing things, but I do try to work out, because if I stop working out, I'm gonna be in trouble.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of your job requires you to.
I'm gonna have to.
I know.
I'll be in trouble.
And the kids love it. You know what I mean? If you can't pick up kids anymore, then you're in trouble.
I just don't want to end up on The Biggest Loser or anything. So I guess gotta watch what I eat.
Is there any other hat that you wear that I don't know about? Is there anything we didn't cover as far as your roles that God?
God's been opening more doors as far as doing missions with other groups. I was just invited a couple of days ago to do a Mexico mission trip with a church on March 18th and go with them, and then. I'm taking over our group as we go in June. I leave back to Cambodia in 7 days, heading back to Cambodia. And then Africa, I believe twice, once in September, then come back, and then going back in August. And God's just been opening doors, stepping out more, speaking more, doing different events on my own now. And it's been a challenge. It's a little scary, but it's fun. It just grows me kind of, because I get in my little zone. I'm good here. I know what here is, and God's been trying to open doors and kick me out of my little box.
Yeah, I know one thing that we've never really, I guess, talked about. It's pretty much like always about God, or what's God doing in our life. But there's also a big part of you, which is your family, that I've never really got to ask you about. I mean, you have a daughter, and she looks just like you, and
she's pretty. Looks just like me.
Yeah.
My daughter actually will be going on her first mission trip in March, so I'm going to take her to her first mission trip, because I believe it's not only important for her to see me serving God, but for her to learn at an early age what it means to serve, and what it looks to serve, and what it looks like to give. A lot of young people will do mission trips because they think they're going to go hang out with their buddies, or they say, well, what do I get from doing this? Well, you don't get anything. You get to know that you helped somebody else, and that's the reward that you get. So I want my daughter to not only see me serving God and modeling that to her, but I want her to learn what it is to serve, to get her eyes off of herself and get her eyes on the world. And we were talking the other day as we were getting ready for Mexico, and the reason I want her to go is a lot of times I get it in this country, there are a lot of people who struggle. There are a lot of people that struggle financially and physically in different areas. But even with all the struggles that we have here, we have it so much better than people in most of the world. And although we have hardships and stuff here, and my first time in Mexico was my very first mission trip, and I never knew people lived like that. Even though it was right across the border, I knew there were poor people in the world, but I never knew the poverty of other countries like I saw there. And I remember for my first day or so in Mexico, I literally just cried because I didn't know. I had to repent, because I was like, God, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And ever since then, my heart has been for missions and helping other people. So I want my daughter to learn at 11 years old what it means to serve and to give out of her abundance. And what she has, even though we don't have a lot, but she has a lot more than a lot of people.
I think that's an incredible mindset that you got there. For parents who are not necessarily into missions, but, have their own purpose, everybody serves a purpose. But how they kind of show their kids how to serve if they're not a missionary? Well,
modeling, and like I was telling people the other day, missions, and I think the church and a lot of people have this whole thing as being missionaries confused with going overseas. I believe missions is not just about going to foreign lands. Missions is wherever your feet are planted. I believe that young people that get up and go to school for the day, that's their mission field. Parents that go to work, that's your mission field. God has placed you there for that day, for that time, to reach those people. And I also tell young people this: well, if you're not serving and you're not sharing Jesus with people that you're next to with every day, you really have no business going overseas and doing it. Because if you're not doing it here, you won't do it there. So you have an opportunity every day. You get up for 7 hours to go to a school and model your life and share Jesus with the people that don't know him. I mean, what a great opportunity. I believe the greatest mission field in the U.S. is the public school campus. Where I'm on a public school campus every day for the past 26 years. I can't go around and just share Jesus openly with people, but they can.
And you can model it, though,
and
too.
I can model it, and I can live it, but if they ask me, then it's on. I'm going to tell them, well, what changed your life? I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you. And that happened the other day at our assembly. But I think missions is something where you are every day is your mission field. And whether it's a public school here, whether you're working at Walmart, whether you're working at Lowe's, whether you're working wherever you are, is your mission field. And so I want her to learn that. And I want her to see my wife and I serving God and loving each other and just modeling that before her.
I think that's wonderful. And how has God helped you to kind of shape your marriage and make it a successful one?
Well, marriage is a good thing, but it can be a tough thing. And, we all know the saying, happy wife, happy life. It's so true. But, when you put God where he belongs in your marriage, everything else will fall in place. When I love God the way that I should, I'm able to love my wife the way she deserves to be loved. And it's a struggle sometimes. The good thing is my wife loves the Lord, and she's very open to missions. And I asked her about going on these mission trips, and it's a sacrifice for her too, because I'm gone a lot, and she knows what we're doing. She knows that we're making a difference. We're reaching people, and she's probably my biggest supporter. And she just says, "Go ahead." She's always encouraged me to go, and that's why one thing I really love about her. She's so giving, and she'll ever to share me with the world. Just go reach people, and I love it. And so that's the way we're raising our daughter, and Christ is the center of our marriage, and it's good, it's fun, and she was actually one of the reasons I really came to the Lord too, is I met her at an outreach, and we started talking, and then I didn't see her for 2 years later, and then found out she was watching my basketball games. She'd come watch me play basketball at my games, her and her mom, and then they asked me out to an outreach one day, and I went, and that's really how things started going.
So she was a Christian way before you.
Oh yeah. She's I remember one day I asked her out, and she asked me if I was a Christian, and I said no, and she said no. I was like, "Do you know who I am?" She was like, "I don't care who you are."
You're like, "I'm VLT."
Yeah, and she's like, "I don't care who you are," and she said no. Honest to good, she said no, and I'm like,
good.
Okay. And so that hurt. That was.
Well, you got her now. You got her.
Yep, that's right.
You got her. That's all that matters.
And so then, and we just was celebrating pretty soon here, 20 years of marriage, and we dated for about 6 years before we got married, and then married for 20.
That's wonderful, Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to hear that. I've never heard like your family part of your life.
So it's been good.
Heard everything else.
I just do what I'm told, basically. So
happy.
It works.
Life.
That's right. So when I come downstairs and I see the garbage next to the door, I know to take it out. Hey. So I'm learning. So it's like on-the-job training.
It's a learning process.
That's
it's
right.
all good.
It is.
And since you're going to, are you going to Mexico or Cambodia first?
I'm going to Cambodia next Wednesday.
And what exactly do you get to do there? Are you still going there for the...
Yeah, we work with an organization called AIM, so Agape International Missions, and we'll be partnering with them, with Don and Bridget Brewster, and we'll be in this... the rescue homes, will be in the schools, and we'll be in the training center with the girls that are coming out of human trafficking. Last year, we did a service project, so we want to start doing service projects every year. So last year, we remodeled the Lord's Gym. Many years ago, we opened the Lord's Gym there to help reach some of the guys that were selling these girls. And so last year, we raised enough money to remodel the whole gym. We painted it. We bought them new gloves, new kicking bags, fixed a couple of mirrors. So this year, our mission project, we want to go to the AIDS ward where the girls who've contracted HIV, they really just go to die. And we want to spend some time there, and not only with AIM and Rahab's House, which is the name of the church, but at the AIDS ward, and then some other different villages around Cambodia. We were asked to do an outreach at a place about 7 hours away from where we're going to be, so got to figure out how to get there. I was contacted by a group last week to do the show Cambodia's Got Talent, almost like America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent. So
now you have to plan that?
We did the show twice before, and they called last week and asked us to do it again. And so we'll go on the show and we'll reach people. What's cool about that is we did a show that the princess was on the front row.
Really?
The Cambodian princess was sitting right there and gave her life to the Lord when we gave her an altar call.
Whoa!
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, that deserves a high five.
That was awesome. So she came to know Jesus because we broke bricks. We were breaking stuff, and she got saved.
Speaking of bricks, since I, hassled you for a phone book, let's see how long it takes you. You want to try it? Let's try it now.
I can try it.
Can I give you 10 seconds on the clock? You think you can do it in 10 seconds?
Do you want me to stand up and do it, or do you want me to sit down and do it?
Well, you have to sit down. You're strapped.
Oh, that's right. I'm strapped. With a mic, though.
Yeah.
See, in the hood, when we say we're strapped, that's not a good thing. So you ready?
All right. Yeah, okay. Okay, we got 10 seconds on the clock.
So, you want me to do it under 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, go. Should I go slower? Woo! Good job. 10 seconds on the dot. Bravo. Usually he makes like a bigger mess, but I'm surprised he didn't this time.
I don't want to throw it and make a mess in here.
He's
I have
so sweet.
have to clean it up.
So sweet. So let's talk about some of our adventures.
Yes.
We've had a lot of adventures.
We've had some fun.
Yes. I gave my life to God actually at Radical Reality Summer Camp, which is actually coming up. Do you know the dates by heart?
The first camp is going to be July. I just did this the other day. Second week of July, the 11th through the 15th.
Okay.
And then the second camp will be the 25th through the 29th.
Well, I encourage anybody to go because it's just like, it's seriously phenomenal. Like, that's where I gave my life to God.
It's an amazing week.
Yeah. Like, I came face to face with a girl who jumped me, and
I remember that. I remember that
pretty
well.
Insane stuff, huh?
You know, really, that camp, when I first gave my life to the Lord, it was funny because I didn't know Christians had camps. I didn't know they did missions. I gave my life to the Lord, and the next thing I know, I was on a bus. The pastor of the church put me on a bus and sent me to that camp, and it was weird because I knew nothing about God. And next thing I know, I'm on a bus with about 60 smelly teenagers, and I went to a place that smelled worse than them. It's on a sulfur spring, and it smelled, and I'm just going, what am I doing here? And I remember one night I was at the front of the service, and I was up there just praying, and just seeking God and asking God, what do you want me to do? And that's where God really spoke to me, and where I started getting purpose and direction for my life, and where God really called me into missions. And I will never forget that day. And God called me to go to Bible school, and I didn't really want to do that, but I did. And just giving my life completely over and just surrendering and say, okay, God, whatever you want, I'll do.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I will have more information on like all the different ways that you can get involved with Radical Reality and everything else in between.
Yeah.
So for people watching, if you're interested, do you have any contact ways that people can get a hold of you?
Oh, yeah. Our church number, I'll give you the number, and because I'm not very good with messages and stuff, so our secretary, she's amazing, so she gets me anything I need. But I can be reached at area code 916-783-1989. And just ask for me, ask for Terry Douglas, and Lisa will take care of that and make sure I get the message, and she will make sure I call you back too, because they stay on me a lot. And we're open to do different events and outreaches and reach people. We've done outreaches you name it, we've done outreach there. And you know, just driving up here past the schools down there, we did the school assemblies up here. I've done men's camps up in Angels Camp. I've done, that was a little weird. I've done they went squirrel hunting and asked me if I wanted to go squirrel hunting. And I didn't know people hunted squirrels.
Oh, wow.
So I found out, and it was funny because I was making fun of them. The guys were going squirrel hunting, and I came back that night and I went to get in bed and they put a squirrel in my bed.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Well, we are like down to 30 seconds.
No.
So I know 30 minutes is never enough with you.
What?
Like it just isn't. But thank you so much for Terry for being on the show and being a part of Shasta's journey. Like literally, you've made an incredible difference within my life, and I hope he has definitely spoke words in your life that can teach, heal, or inspire one of you. Your story has the same power, so go share it at shastasjourney.com. Go to our Facebook page or check out our YouTube channel. And thanks, Terry. All right, bye, guys. Blessings to you.